What up, what up? Okay, welcome back to another video, right? Okay, so let's get right into some questions here. Describe journey you have been on. You should say where you went, what kind of kinds of transport you use. What the fuck is this kind of like a typo or something? How long the journey took, and say how the transport you used could be improved. A journey you have been on, you should say where you went, what kinds of transport you use. Okay, a journey, right? I'm not really like I cannot really retell about this because it's something happened in memory, so it's kind of hard for me to remember them. But I have to try them though because this is the question and I have to answer them. About the journey, I think that I was just gonna tell you guys some recent journey that I just went through. And the journey was it happened like a week ago. It was a journey to it was like wedding though, but it's also a journey because I have to went there through a car. It was like the car took about 3 hours though. It was not really long to enter to the wedding, but that 3 hours ride, I can say that it's kind of like a journey to me. It also like it's been a long time that I have not ever took any kind of car like the car service to transport you to a different city. I usually went to a different city, usually my hometown, my parents' grandparents' hometowns, using our old house, our old car. Like my family has a car, so we usually travel by that. But this time, it's been like few. Actually, it's been years that I don't use any car service out there. So this is also, it was like pretty new. It's been a long time, you know. So it was like 3 hours only, and the car, it was like a bad car, you know, like it didn't have any seat there, but instead there was a lot of bed that you can lie on during the trip, so you can actually sleep there. It was fun though. But the problem is that it was night trip because you know the trip took place in like 4 p.m. and we finished the trip at 7 p.m. So through the trip they didn't stop at anywhere. So throughout 3 hours we was on the car, and you know that 3 hours you think you know what's the problem, right? Yeah, there was no toilet, so that's the main problem. And it's kind of annoying that you have to hold your pee during the trip. So yeah, that's the only thing that it was kind of annoying. And this can be fixed if you use some kind of different transportation like a train. Maybe it's get a lot improved. You can do that. And also in train you can also have a private room, you know. You can partition and there's a door between each room. And in this car here, it's a public space, so every bed you can see through there. So it's kind of sick, but you cannot ask for anything else because the price was pretty cheap. And the journey took only 3 hours, so it's not really a big deal to hold a bee during that time. So, and if you want to improve this, I think that it just need to have some stops, some place to stop amid the trip, like between the 3 hours, maybe after 1 and 30 hours, 1.5 hours. The car should stop at somewhere so people can take some rest at some toilet and stuff. Maybe that's gonna be okay because you know, with that cheap price, people cannot require anything much. So I think that's enough for people. And that's also finished this question here. Talk about foreign country you have been to on holiday and business. You should say where the country is, why you went to that place, and what things there are to do there, and say whether you think you will go there again in the near future or not, and why. Wait me a second, this is weird. Okay, let's keep continue. Talk about foreign country you have been to on holiday or business. You should say where that country is, why you went to that place, and what things there are to do there. A foreign country you have been to. Oh, unfortunate, I have never been to any foreign country before. And say whether you think you will go there again in the near future or not, and why. I actually did once in my lifetime to go to a abroad country. It was like the next country next to Vietnam, and the country was Laos, but I was been there. I had been there was just like it was like 1 hour only because it just the border because we didn't have much, but we didn't have passport at that time. So me and my family just people to travel there for about around 1 hour, and we have to go back. to went back to our country again. So I am not going to count that in. But yeah, I have never been to any foreign country like Western country in America or something. So I cannot really tell you about that. But I think that, I mean, in my imagination, I can tell you about some stuff in there. So maybe in the future, maybe I have some chance to go to the US. That could be amazing for me. Everything there would be so completely new. Different culture, different thing, buildings of the buildings, and in infrastructure that's also completely different from Vietnam. And because the US is a developed country in comparison to a developing country like Vietnam, then everything there will be much more expensive, and the quality also like 100% different in a better way. So that's definitely hive out. I think I will like. It's like my dream right now, so I cannot really tell much. Describe an incident you remember well from when you were young. Okay, let's keep continue then. I think we just finished the next question already. About the foreign country, we already finished that, right? Uh, okay, so let's talk about the incident. An incident you remember well from when you were very young. You should mention what happened, how old you were, and how you reacted, and say why you remember that incident well. This is gonna be a little bit tough here about an incident, right? Incident when I was young. Damn, this actually like okay, I got it now. I have an event that I can tell with you guys now. So it was about 4 years ago when I was a freshman in high school. I was in 10th grade. At that time, I was bought by my family electricity car, bicycle. I don't know, electricity motorbike. It was an electricity motorbike. So at that time, it was pretty new for me. So I spent at that time a little time, a few hours to practicing driving the car, the motorbike. And then there was something happened at that day. It was like so unfortunate. For some reason, I decided to hold a phone on my left hand and use my right hand to control the motorbike. And for that reason, the incident happened at that way. In that way, the reason why it happened was because I was a little bit neglect. I was a little bit like neglect diligent. So there was a car in front of me, but it was like I didn't pay much attention to that. So I didn't like use the brake much at the time, but it was really close to the car when I decided to brake. And then because one hand of mine was holding a phone, so I cannot use them to like have a place to hold on. So when I make a brake on with my right hand, because I only have one hand to hold on the car on the motorbike. For that reason, I fall down because of the momentum. I fall down, and then the phone on my left hand is shattered. It's actually like completely destroyed from the screen. So it was like a disaster to me. And also I got a lot of injuries on my kneecap. So it was pretty terrible. And so with that, a lot of bloodiness. Even my clothes, my band was like it ripped out from the kidnap. Everything was ripped out because the momentum was pretty high. I think it was just about 40 kilometers per hour or something. Yeah, but I like because one hand of mine was being holding a phone, so I couldn't use them to have a place to hang on. So when I used the brake, I just fell down. So it was kind of terrible. So that's not the end of the incident yet. So I got back to the car, to the motorbike, and then I put the phone back to my pocket, and I decided to went back home. But for some reason, because I think that I was very like really scared at the time, I was really scared, like freak out. So I controlled the car, the motorbike in that condition, and on that same street, on the same road, I met a couple. I think they're not a couple. It's just like two people on a car, on the motorbike, but it's like a gas motorbike. It's not electricity. So for some reason, I crashed them. So it's the second time I fell down at the same place. So it was like unbelievable because maybe my mental at the time was really like freaking out. It was not stable because I just experienced the first time falling down from a car, from a motorbike. So I was really like freaking out at the time, and It happened another time. I crashed another couple on a car on a motorbike. They was alright though. They did not get any injuries on their body or anything, I guess. But yeah, at the second time, I did fall down another time, so it was kind of sick. So I fell down 2 times in a row. So yeah, I still have to like got up and get back home on my own. Got back home by my own. So when I got back home, my kitty cab it was like uploaded and the band was ripped out and stuff. Yeah, I was home and I got back home and at the time I was alone though, because it was like maybe it was in the afternoon. Every member of my family was when already went to work already, so there was only me at the time. So, but the injury was not really serious. It was just about the skin though. It was just being ripped out or peeled off the skin, so it's kind of normal. But I waited there at my house. It was like only 30 minutes left, and my mom when we would get back home. So in that 30 minutes, I was just sit at my house and wait for something, I don't know. So after 30 minutes, my mom got back home and find that all the injuries in my leg and stuff, and she immediately brought me to a facility. No, like infinity, infinity, right? Pharmacy or something. Yeah, pharmacy or something, hospital, and then they just have some basic cleaning up and stuff, and then we got back home again. It was like just skin injuries. There was nothing serious about that. So yeah, that was the incident. It was kinda stupid. I was in 10th grade, so Memento was really like it was really scary to me at that time. And that's also the first time I fell down from from a motorbike. So yeah, the memory wasn't really convincing, not really like good for me, but I can still remember that, isn't it? And I don't know, maybe the reason why I can still remember that is because I don't know, maybe because that was the first time I fell down from a motorbike. So yeah, the first time I fall down from a motorbike. So maybe that's the reason why. Yes. And maybe my reaction was kinda like yeah, scary and freaking out, and yeah, I felt down 2 times in a row. You can see how bad it was, right? Okay, let's keep continue. Next question. Talk about hobby you had when you were younger but no longer do now. Talk about hobby, right? Hobby you had when you were younger but no longer do now. A hobby you had when you were younger but it's no longer exists. Okay, you should say how long you had that hobby, why you like it, why you stopped doing it, and say if you think most young children nowadays would enjoy that hobby or not and why. A hobby when I was young I had, huh? Okay, so when I was young, I was in elementary school. I was about 8 years old. At that time, I had a hobby that every single night, after finishing my dinner, I will immediately get out home, go outside and find all my neighborhood friends and play some traditional game. Because yeah, at that time there was no internet, there was no phone, so all the time the only way for people to get entertained, and especially for children at the time, is was to hang out with their friends, and that's exactly what I did. Every single night after finishing dinner, I would immediately went out and I would immediately go out and find friends, play some traditional game, played some traditional game like hide and seek. It was fun at that time. There was no internet, there was no TikTok, yeah, there was no social media and all those stuff. And I think that after I went to middle school, which was like 6th grade, I think that I lost that hobby, I lost that habit, hobby. I mean, yeah, hobby. Um, when I was in 6th grade, I didn't hang out with my neighbor friends anymore for some reason. I don't know. All of them too. They didn't invite me to play some traditional game anymore because also the other time that was also the first bill that was of that's also the time that's the first appearance of internet and computer, so maybe that's also an impact. And and nowadays, I don't think young children enjoy that hobby anymore. Actually, in my neighborhood right now, still in the afternoon, there's some kids out there playing some traditional games like football, using the sleeper as the goal, and maybe hide and seek too. There's still some, but I think that the majority of children nowadays they prefer playing game on their iPhone on their phones instead of playing traditional game. Anyway, yeah. So I think yeah, still some, but the majority is not. They are not. They are not gonna enjoy that anymore. They prefer scrolling through TikTok and Facebook instead of playing game. Traditional game. Traditional. Yeah. Okay. That was also enough for the next one here. And we come to the next, the end, the last question on this page. And there's only one page left, which has about 4 questions only. Not so much. I talk about a trip you have been on. Oh, a day trip. Okay, this is gonna be fun here. A day trip, you should say where you went, how you travel, why you choose to go to that place, and say whether you'd like to go back to the same place again or not, and why. Why or why not, right? Talk about a day trip. It's a day trip. It's like, do I have to travel all that day, or maybe just few hours of traveling and then I can settle down to some place to enjoy? I don't really understand it. I cannot really distinguish the difference, but maybe okay. I think I will just tell it as the way I want. So I had a trip. I had a trip. It was like a campfire, right? Is that how I say that? The campfire. It was hell. It was held by my university. It was just like 1 month ago, not gonna lie. So it was like campfire. Every single people in my major, IT, can attend that. But actually, you still need to register for that, and you have to buy a little fee for it too, for the fee for your meal, your meal and your place to live at that time, to stay at that time. And the fee was actually it was cheap. Not gonna lie, for a trip like that, the fee was totally completely cheap. And let's talk more about the trip and the journey. So we took they actually hire a car, like several car, which one each one has more than 42 seats. So we use all those cars to travel, and the journey, the traveling, it costs for around half an hour, though not really long, because we moved to a beach and it's like in the next city, in the near city, so it was just 30 minutes of traveling, of going. So it's not really long for the trip. And when we got there, there was already some, how can I say this, there's some place for us to stay already. It can prevent us from getting wet by the rain and stuff. It was good enough. And yeah, we just need to decorate them a little bit more. That's enough for us, what we need to do. And during the campfire, there's a lot of activity, like some football, some what is calco in English? Let me check for that. There was some tug of war game, and there's a lot more, but I don't know what its name. But yeah, it was fun. And we couldn't choose the place because the place was chosen from the place was chosen, right? Was chosen from the, what is ban tổ chức in English? Was from organization committee, organizing committee, isn't it? I bet. Organization. Organizer from the organizer bar, organizing committee. So we couldn't choose anything. But yeah, it's still a very good place. It was a beach and it was really fresh and cool. But we couldn't swim though. It was like strictly prohibited to swim. But yeah, still good enough. And maybe in the future, if we have a chance to actually have another campfire, definitely I will enjoy and we will attend for that. To the same beach will be fine. Okay, next question then. Oh, I swear to God, this gets so much more annoying here. Actually, go this answer. I know that it's gonna help me a lot, but it is also really annoying to me. Not gonna lie, bro. because just answering is kind of sad because there's nothing appealing during this process. I don't know, maybe have some game to play and then answering the question why playing game is also is maybe it's funnier, isn't it? I don't know. And also I want that yeah, after this, after English, when I master English, when I reach the C2 level, the C2 level in this Europe scale, I will learn another language. But maybe it's not gonna happen soon. Maybe in the next years or maybe in the next 2 years after I achieve some of my achievement, then I think that I will consider learning a third language. Okay. So about the simple present, present simple, that tense got easy for me now, and also the future simple also simple for me. I don't make so much mistake during using the tense, but when it comes to the past, it's still annoying me a little. I still make a lot of mistake about the tense and grammar while using past tense, and I have to work on that a little bit more. So I have 4 questions left here, and then we come back to the normal questions like the previous 2 videos. What do you think? I don't know. This kind of annoying. I've been talking non-stop for a few hours, few minutes, couple of minutes. So it's kind of annoying. It's keep getting annoying, more annoying. But there's no other way for me to improve my English. I need to find some method to be able to speak it out. Because it's speaking and you need to keep speaking, keep speaking whatsoever. There's no other way to improve this. You cannot do some text exercise. Because even doing some exercise also even more annoying rather than speaking like this. Because you have to write down and you have to think and stuff. But when it comes to speaking, you don't have to think anything. It just become your reflex and the words just come out from your mouth. You don't think anything. Especially you should not force yourself to think because you need to get rid of the first language when you speak the other one. That's the easiest way for you to master another language, Not only in English, because my third language is gonna be Russian. I would love to learn that language. I really like Russian country. I don't know, for some reason I really love all those girls there. Maybe because of my exposure to a Latvian girl, to a Russian girl before when I was younger. I really like that. Like the beauty is really like distinguished. It's really like differentiate from the other. So I would love to master Russian, so maybe I can go to Russia and find some girl there and then have sex with them. Damn. Maybe it's gonna take a lot more time to accomplish. But first, I think English will gonna be enough for me already. Because it's the international language, isn't it? And with English only, you already be good enough. But as I see, I don't know why, but as I see someone who can speak second language, which is not English, someone who is bilingual, but they cannot of those two languages is not English. Then for some reason they can still speak English pretty well. I don't know. I'm not talking about the fluency, but when they need to speak or ask anything in English, is pretty well transformed, like well delivered. It was very smooth when they speak some English sentence or some English question. When it comes to bilingual speaking English as not their language, I don't know why. Maybe because they already have a good foundation. Because their second language, they already have a good second language, right? I don't know. So maybe they can just apply them for some simple sentence in other language, and they can already do that. Or maybe they already have some exposure time to English, so that was enough for them to just make some questions, some sentence. And I don't even know whether they can actually have some good conversation in English, because English is not their language yet. They only know 2 languages, and all of those 2 languages is not English. So I cannot really tell though. Okay. So anyway, let's get back to the next question then. I was a little bit digressed. Right? I digress. Digress was a verb. Digress is a verb, so I cannot use words there. I digress a little. Yeah, maybe that's how you use it. I digressed it. Digressed it. Digastic. Oh, I don't think it's that bad. Digress though. Digress.
Digress.
Digress. Okay. Good. Um, but I digress a little, right? Okay, let's go next question then. No more off topic. Talk about hotel, bread, and breakfast. What do you mean by bread here? What the fuck is the food, right? Campsite. Oh, is it campsite? Is that the word? Campsite. Campsite is a place that take campfire, right? Okay, campsite.
Campsite.
Campsite. Camping, a place for us camping. Awesome. It's a camping, a place used for camping, and it is called as campsite, etc. You have stay in on holiday. Hotel, breakfast, campsite. You should say why you chose that place, how long you stay there, what the good and bad things about it were, and say whether you would like to stay in the same place again and why. The same place again and why, huh? And why what? Let me see. Talk about a hotel, bread and breakfast. Even breakfast there, what the hell? You stay in on holiday. In a holiday too, damn, this is gonna be even more annoying because there's a lot of journey I've been through that was taken not in a holiday, it was just spontaneous. Just some random day, it was not in holiday at all. You should say why you chose that place, how long you stayed there, and what the good and bad things about it were, and say whether you would like to stay in the same place again or not. In a holiday, this is extremely hard for me. I have to record that too. Come on, man. So okay, I think I can record now. So when I was in my final years in middle school, I guess me with my friend, with not my friends, but with my family, we went on to a road trip that using our old car. I already told you guys that we have our old car, right? And we use our old car to travel to a lot of city in Vietnam here. And each city, we're just gonna visit there for a few hours and then move on to the new one. For some reason, our family decided to do that at that time. And it was on a holiday. The holiday lasts for like 3 days or something. I couldn't recall much. But yeah, it was a road trip to a lot of city on the south. Yeah, it was on the south. Start from somewhere, I don't know. I actually drive the car through the central to the south of my country. It was pretty neat. It took like the holiday. I don't think it was last for 3 days only. I think it was more than a week. Yeah, the holiday it was a Tet holiday or something, and it lasts pretty long. So it was a road trip, right? It was like it took very long to finish the road trip, and we went to the south, and we visited some of the neighborhood there, not neighborhood, but relative there too. We visited some relatives there, and I couldn't recall where was the place that we slept, but yeah, it's what I couldn't recall where was the place we slept at that time. But I think it was some relative house, I guess, or maybe it was just a motel. I couldn't recall much about that too. And breakfast, we just got into some like in the row, some store in the row, and ate some pho or some noodle and stuff. There was nothing really special about the breakfast there. And yeah, it was really long trip. But actually, when we ended up in Nha Trang, Nha Trang is a very famous place in Vietnam. It was like an attraction in Vietnam. There was very much thing to do there. And we went there, and there was something that's called as Sun World. It was like a place that contains a lot of like thrill game. So we went there a little and actually bought a ticket to go inside there to play a little game. So it was fun at the time in Nha Trang. And maybe in the after road, we went back to our main country, no, main city, where we live. And then we finished the trip. It was kind of fun, but yeah, whatsoever. And if you ask me whether I want to take the same road trip again in the future, then definitely not, because it was useless and it just doesn't make sense at all. You just move around the country to the different city. You don't have anything to do between each one. So what's the point though? Spending your time on the car for a while is kind of annoying. So yeah, definitely not gonna do that same thing in the future. Okay, just finish another one. Talk about one method of learning a foreign language you have used. Oh, this is gonna be my knack here. Oh, all of this is about English. Wow, gonna be good. It's gonna be sick. Let me take a sip of water first. Awesome. Okay, let's get back to the next question. A method, one method of learning a foreign language I have used and I am still using till now. You should say what you did, how long you used this method for, and how it compares to other methods of learning a language. And say if you will use that same method in the future or not and why. Okay, so this is going to be the topic that I really want to talk about. And when we're talking about a method of learning a foreign language, there's a lot of aspects to discuss about. Because learning a foreign language, there's a lot of aspects in a foreign language. Rather, it's about vocabulary or it's about fluency and it's about grammar, right? But the method that I'm going to introduce you guys right now gonna help directly to your language, and it is about fluency. Because yeah, fluency is the most important thing in a language. It's not about grammar, because even when you use a broken grammar in your sentence, people can still understand you. Believe me, man. And because you can just like, let me give you an example in English, right? You can just use only one tense, which is like simple present. Then people can still understand you really well. With a good fluency, that could be nice. But yeah, the method that I'm going to talk about is gonna focus on the fluency field on a language. I'm not talking about writing or listening or reading here. Yep, it's also a different aspect. It's about reading, listening, writing, and speaking, right? So fluency is on the speaking field. And that's also the thing that I feel is the most important for a language, because for a language, you want to communicate with other, right? You don't want to text, you want to chat with other, but you want to speak with the other one. So speaking gonna be the most important one. And also in the speaking, there's several things too, but I'm going to talk about the fluency. So this method is about, I think this method is not actually a method, it's just like a different thing, a different way for you to practice them. So when it comes to speaking, when it comes to fluency, which is like you speak out, right? And just like any other thing in this world, if you want to improve something, you need to keep doing that for a long as fuck time, isn't it? So if you want to be a good at math, you need to do a lot of math exercise, and the same holds true for other aspects of life like physics and athletic and football and even with language. So if you want to speak good, you need to keep speaking, right? That seems so fucking like obvious. But that is obvious, but not everyone actually spend their time speaking at all. That's the catch. For some reason, people just don't want to spend time speaking. But in their mind, in every single mind, I think it's common sense that they know that if they want to speak good, they need to keep speaking. But no one's actually speak, and definitely they need to have someone to actually tell them that they need to speak out. If and then after that, they can actually notice that okay, I will have to start speaking from now on. So they actually need to have some guide, some guider, some mentor to actually tell them to speak. So we are talking about the speaking here, and the method I'm going to tell is about, it's just a different way for you to speak, and the method is that you need to keep speaking. Maybe okay, the method is two words. The name of the method is keep speaking. Yep, there's only two words that, but inside this method, there's a lot more thing. There's a lot more like how can I say this? It's like a different view. What is cut is like case, huh? Condition, case. There are different condition or different method. I don't know. There's no other ways to say this in English though. What the hell? But yeah, it's like inside of this method, there's a different way to do it. Oh, the ways, different ways to do it. The first way is that you just answering some questions. You find a list of questions in the internet and then you spend time answering all of them. It can last for even go up to weeks or months or years, and then your speaking skill, your spoken English will get tremendously improved. That's the first way. The second way is that maybe you can pretend yourself as a streamer. You pretend like there's a lot of audience right now watching you, and you are talking with them. You are talking with them in the target language. That's also the way for you to have something to talk about, right? So yeah, like the root of the thing is that you need to do something that help you, that make you speak non-stop. That's all. So that was the two methods. The third one is that I don't know, maybe that was only two methods, isn't it? The third one, or maybe the third one is maybe you play some game. You are not a streamer anymore, but you are someone who is really into playing games. So while you are playing game, you commenting on that. So it's kind of still kind of like streamer, but you are not streaming anymore. So yeah, kind of some of the method, but all of them says the same rule, and that is that you need to keep speaking. That's all. And if I want to compare this to any other methods, then I think that there's no other method rather than that. The method named keep speaking is the only method for you to improve the speaking skills. Not there's no other method for you to compare. Maybe you can only compare this way to the other ways. As I said, there were several ways of keep speaking, right? Maybe you can become a streamer. Maybe you can answering all the questions, and then yeah, you can compare all those ways. Which one gonna fit you more? Which one is more effective to you or the other dude? Then yeah, you can compare that. But the rule is that you need to keep speaking, and no one can compare that to any other method though. And I've been using them. I've been using them for like a few months already. So yeah, I'm still using them now. Answering all this question here, and say if you will use that same method in the future or not, and why. Before answering that, I think that I will note this down. I want to listen back to the answer that I just answered this question. 36, 36, right? 50. Okay, I will have to like watch this place again so that I can hear back my answer. Was it fluent enough? I don't know. Check that out. And the last question, say if you use the same method in the future or not. Definitely, I will apply this for my other language rather than my second one, English here. In my third language or my fourth language, I will still apply the same method to improve the fluency on all of those languages, not only in this one. So definitely, I will. It's like the most efficient method already in this world. But maybe in the future, maybe there's some method that they can actually inject knowledge into people's mind, so they don't have to spend time learning them anymore. They just gonna download some information into their brain directly. So it's just gonna cost like a few minutes to upload the knowledge into their brain. Maybe in the future that's gonna be possible. I don't know. Who knows? Next question. Talk about an English language book you have read or used. English language book, a book about English language. Come on, what the fuck? If you are talking about a book that is written in English, then it's gonna be so much easier rather than this one that is talking about specific English language. I should say why you bought or used that book, what you learned from using it, and if it was useful or easy to use. I think if you are talking about an English language book here, maybe it's a book about research, some research about English language or something, I don't know, and say if you could use the similar book again or not. I think that I will just gonna change the topic a little bit. Talk about an English book you have read. Okay, so then a book that is written in English, there's several of them I have read, and there's one of them that I want to introduce you guys. It was a self-help book, and its name was Atomic Habit. It was a book that talked about habit and how you can know more about habit, what is habit, and how can you build a good habit for yourself, and some more few stuff around habit and how habit actually can affect your perspective, your personality. Like actually, your personality is just a combination of a lot of habit. So how you treat a people, how you treat a person, that's also a habit of you, because you have been doing that same thing. The way you treat other people with several people, several one else. So yeah, that's another habit of yours. So yeah, personality is just a combination of a lot of habit. So when you finish reading the book, you can have no. It actually can change your entire life, can change your entire perspective. Not gonna lie, it happened to me here. The book was like outstanding from any other self-help book. and there was a Vietnamese version, but that's its original was an English one. And yeah, there was a lot of tough words there. There was big word I don't know. It's like advanced words, vocabulary for someone who speak English as a second language like me. It was really hard to understand the whole book without using a translator. So yeah, with the help of a translator, it's gonna be easier for you to understand the book. And say, will you use the same similar book again? I don't think in the near future I will reread it anymore. But I will reread it. But definitely the same kind of book, like a self-help book in general. Yeah, I think I will find some more self-help book to read. Because self-help book, if you can apply them to your life, it's help you a lot. Because a lot of people think, because a lot of people they actually like hate self-help book because they think that they are all bullshit and not gonna help you. But the problem is because they after they finishing reading the book, they don't apply that into their life. So that's the problem with them. You just need to apply all the knowledge in that self book to your life, and it's gonna help tremendously to your life. Okay, so just finish another one. 20 more minutes to finish this one, huh? That's annoying fuck though. Okay, this is also the last question so that I can get back to the previous page, previous PDF file. Ah, shit, this is annoying. I can quit this now. I will get back to this place soon after I finish this recording. Okay, talk about describe the first place that you can remember living in. You should say approximately how old you were when you first. I think I already done this before. The place I already did this one the same thing before, so I think I will skip this because I already did that. I don't want to redo it. Okay, about speaking part 3, let's see what is this about. I think it's just some like general questions. It is about simple present. How it's like different from your generation parents. What is the best? What is my history interesting and accessible for children? Do you think? Oh, it's kind of tough here. But yeah, it's I think it's kind of the same for the last one. For the last file, let me try to open it now. Where is it? Yeah, this one, this page here. I think it is all the same from this one, right? Or maybe it's a little bit tougher. Yeah, so maybe okay. I will spend a little time finishing all of this question first, and then I will move back to this one, huh? I bet. Let's go. This is so hard, man. It's not hard, but it's kind of annoying and exhausting. For some reason, I don't want to do this for a long time. But yeah, I still have to do it though, because there's no other way for me to improve my English. My English current level, I don't know what it is, but I think it's around B2 to C1, and I hope that I can reach C2 soon in the future. Definitely have to work on the vocab too, but I'm working on my fluency first here. And then after I reach a certain level in my fluency, we're just gonna learn vocabulary basically. I don't even have to put any effort on them. Once I reach to C2 level in fluency, that's a different aspect in the speaking or spoken English, and I'm focused on fluency right now. That's why I am spending a lot of time answering all those questions. It's like make me building a habit for me to answer all these questions in English. It make me feel more familiar with the language, and also it's changed my reflection in English so that I can just spit out some random English words whenever I encounter a question in English. Kind of like that, huh? I guess. But yeah, let's get back to the question then. Speaking about 3 style questions, how is life different for your generation to your parents and grandparents generation? We were talking about grandparents here. I think it's too far for me to even imagine. So I will only mention about the parents generation, right? Alright, only, right? But first, wait me a second. I need doing something first. Okay, so let's keep continue then. About life from my parents' generation compared to the current one. There's a lot of difference, and the first thing is that the advance of internet and computer, that's the big difference, and that's also I think that's the main problem. The main issue that separate from the last generation for the generation G, Gen G, I think that's the biggest problem, biggest changes that separate the different generation now from the advance of internet and For the computer, that also make it separate mindset. The mindset of the different of the generation. My generation here is also get affected from internet a lot compared to the last one, because internet nowadays is like it's an online world now. You can actually access to the US, to America, to Russia, to the Chinese, to China from the internet. So basically you can actually immerse yourself to the different country just from the online platform, online world like the internet. So that's also the big difference. Nowadays people prefer like kids nowadays, they want to spend more time on playing game and using social media, TikTok, rather than going out, hang out with their friends and play some traditional game. Yep, it's definitely there's a lot out there. They don't want to use internet at all. But I am talking about the majority here. The majority of kids nowadays they prefer staying at home and using their phone instead of going out. So that's also a big difference. And there's a lot of negative effect nowadays. Also, nearsight is also a disease that I think that is kind of normal nowadays. It's actually rare for people nowadays to don't have nearsight disease in their eyes. So it's also a big difference. And yeah, there's a lot more thing change when the technology keep develop and keep being like increasing. And yeah, a lot of thing, bad thing and good thing too. But I hope that the positive one gonna transcend the bad one. That's how a thing can last for longer time. Because when the negative effect transcends the positive one, that thing should be exist is should be went to extinction. Yeah. Whatsoever, let's go to the next question then. Do you think life is better now than in the past? Why not? I think that in general, yes, life get a lot improved about everything, every aspect of life, from traveling, from transportation to the quality of life, from health, a lot of foods. And yeah, if you don't know that in the past people have to fight for food, but nowadays it's like it is abundant now. People even have to discard a lot of food every day because it's just too abundant. People don't even have enough time to eat them, to consume them. And about the entertainment service too, there's a bunch of them though. There's pornography, there's video games, the internet, there's a lot of things. Yeah, life so much better nowadays. But yeah, I think that the positive effect, the positive side is pretty much, but we cannot bypass the negative one, because there's also a lot of negative one that being improved too, like improve in the bad way. So people spend much more time at home in the indoor playing game and using their phone and TikTok and Facebook and stuff. So that's a big problem for people, for society, not for people, because it's actually a really good advantage for people who is not really hooked into Facebook and TikTok. People who are hooked to TikTok, I think that all of them will gonna be a failure though. They cannot be successful in the future at all. So people who are not being hooked to all of those platforms, they will gonna have a higher chance to become successful in the future. So that's also an advantage to some people and a disadvantage to a lot of people. So I think yeah, it's like relative. Okay, next question then. Are people your age in your country usually interested in the past? Why and why not? Are people your age in your country usually interested in the past? Why or not? It is about history, right? Then definitely not. I think that history is something that not really so much people want them though, want to study it. So yeah, not so much people interested in the past as well, especially about the young age. Young age nowadays they don't really care about the past, about the history anymore. They care more about the current and about the drama in the current lifetime and in the current generation, in the current day, about social media and stuff. So yeah, no, definitely not, because maybe because they are not interesting anymore of the history and stuff. They already passed, so there's nothing fun about it to retell, to discuss about anymore. In the mindset of young age, okay, I'm not talking about some historian here. So maybe that's why it's not as interesting as TikTok and Facebook. So that's why they don't spend so much time on history, but rather than TikTok and Facebook and playing game, because it is so much more interesting to them. And nowadays, how important it is. Okay, next question then. How important do you think it is for people to know the history of the world and their country? What makes you say that? It is like for some people who want to immerse to attend themselves to the politic world, then knowing history is something immerse for people who is into politics, because you need to know about history so you can actually know the real face, the root of the other opponent, the other country of yours. You want to like have some connection too, right? Like if you are the president of the US, and then you need to know really deep about the history between your country with Russia and China and stuff, right? That is a must for politics, for politician. But just for some average people out there who's just a worker, is a random worker on an average salary, I don't think it's important at all. So yeah, it's depend on the people. But yeah, majority of people don't really need to know about the history. Yeah, I think that the majority of the population don't need to know about that. That's in my opinion, alright? I'm not an expert, so maybe in my opinion, really, it's not gonna make sense or help the society much, bro. Take that in mind. Um, what makes you say that? I don't know. What is the best way to make history interesting and accessible for children? Do you think? What is the best way to make history interesting and accessible for children? Do you think? There's a lot of way now, and it's very simple. You need to look at the thing that it is so compelling, it is so appealing to children nowadays, and you need to apply history to that field. So like people really interesting, children nowadays really into playing game, right? So you need to put some history into games, and people nowadays really enjoy TikTok and Facebook. So yeah, definitely we need to put some history into TikTok and Facebook, and that's how you can already solve the problem there. You can already make it more interesting. You make some game about the history, about some fight in the history. You make a game out of it, and then people will gonna enjoy it a lot more rather than just some text on the textbook. How the fuck can it become interesting, right? Those texts, and they require us to remember them all. What the fuck? It is because of their problem. It is because of their issue, their problem that make history not interesting anymore. A museum in your country popular with people of all age, and why do you think that is? Okay, 8 more minutes and I can skip this. I can stop this video and then start a new one. What is the best way to make history interesting and accessible for children? Oh, I already answered that though. There's only 3 questions left. A museum in your country popular with people of all age. Museum in my country here is not really popular even to any cap age here. Because the first reason is that museum is not everywhere, and even in city, in one of the third biggest city in my country, and it's very rare to have a museum here. I think that there's only 1 or 2, and I have never been there before. And I think that it is all the same for other people though. Museum is not really popular in my country. Really don't people don't consider it a place to go out to go there frequently enough. So yeah, I don't think it's popular here. And why do you think that is? It is because no one pays so much notice and attention to museum in my country, so that's why it's not popular. It's kind of simple, right? Because it needs to be if something needs to be popular, it needs to have a good popularity. A lot of people need to care about that thing, but in this case, it's not, and yeah. In your opinion, what could be done to make them more popular? To make museum more popular, then I think that we need to build some more museum facility, because there's only 1 or 2 in a very big city. I don't think it's gonna solve the problem. Even in countryside, I think that actually like there's none of museum in countryside, because it's already rare in cities, let alone countryside, right? So first, I have to make it more, build more museum. That's first thing, and also we need to make some marketing on that. We need to introduce what's the object in the museum and its history, its background about this material, this substance, how long it's been on Earth. It was like 4 years ago, 4,000 years ago, and it was made by what kind of human and stuff. So it's gonna be more interesting for people, and also it's also because of the price. But actually, I think the price to museum, the ticket is kind of cheap though, so it's not gonna be a problem. And And I think that's done. I think I'm done with this page. We just finished another page with a bunch of questions, right? Okay, we can quit it now. We can close it. And then let's come to the previous one. The previous one of this one, and we already stopped at car chapter 16, right? Okay, so let's try to answer some of these, and then when we reach 1 hour, we will stop this one here, and that's gonna be sick. That is annoying, and my throat is so sore right now. During all this time, I have to spend a lot of time speaking, so my throat is under a fucking torturement or something. So it's kind of annoying. Okay, so let's try to answer the next 3 questions in these chapters, and then I can end this video here. 5 minutes, I think it will be enough. What is the farthest place you have traveled to by car? So it was the trip to my hometown. It was the city that my grandmother lived, and the grandmother here is the mother, my mom. So the city, it was 700 kilometers apart from the city where I live. So that is the furthest place I have ever been to using a car. But I was not the one who drive it. Neither my family. It was just like some service in my city. It drive people to their hometown and stuff. And the car, it was like a bad car. There was no seat there. There was only bed, and you can rely on there, and you can sleep through the trip. So it was pretty uncomfortable. Do you like to sit in front or back when traveling by car? It depends whom I am traveling with. So maybe if it was my family, then I think that I would prefer front seat for my mom. But if it's my friends, only that's my friends on the trip, then I think that I will have to take the front seat, because it's the best seat. You can the seat there's something different from the back seat and the front seat. But in the front seat, you can have a better view. The windshield is very large, and you can look at the scene and stuff outside. It looks funnier rather than in the back seat. So yeah, I already tell you that it depends on the situation, whom I'm traveling with, and when do you travel by car? I think that if we travel to some near city, then I think we can travel by car. But maybe it's on the north. My city is on the center of my country, and it is around like more than 1 kilometer to the north or something. So yeah, I don't think we can travel by car to that city, to the capital. So definitely have to use airplane. And I think that's all, huh? 3 more minutes though. I think we're just gonna tell some random stuff, and then we will end this video soon. So what do you want to talk about? This is gonna be a little bit sad because nowadays it's summertime, and I can spend all of this time doing whatever I want to. But definitely I don't want to waste it on playing game, right? And I will spend time on speaking English, and that's how I can improve it. And then after this summer, I will have to apply for a job using English here as the base for me to earn money. So yeah, I hope that my English will be good enough at the time. There's no other way I can do about that though. Kinda sad, but yeah, that's the other way. And I hope that everything will be good enough for me, because I've been spending a lot of effort on this, so nothing could go wrong anymore, isn't it? Doesn't it, huh? I don't know. It's kinda annoying because my willpower is kinda bad. I still spend a lot of time playing game during this time, because as you can see, every day I just post like 3 hours of speaking onto my YouTube channel, so you can see that I still spend a lot of time playing game. So it was like because my willpower was very bad. It's like I cannot control myself or something. Even the environment, I already set up it to block all those websites so that I cannot access them, but for some reason I still try to unblock them and try to play some game, and then it's been few hours since I played. Fuck it, man. It's kind of annoying, but that's not the way I could do it. I will try my best to not gonna feel regret after this summer. I don't want to waste all of this summer to do nothing. I will spend this time at least improve my English so that I can use them to make a living. I will try to find a job. I don't want to feel regret anymore. I don't want to waste any more time in my life. I'm 18 years old already now. I'm 19 now, almost okay. So I think in this November I will be 19. So I hope that yeah I will spend my time wisely enough. I'm not young anymore. I'm going to die in the next I hope that I will die at 80 or even more than that. So I still have more than 60 years to enjoy this life. And I hope that at my 20 years old I already have something. I think that in the next year, in the end of this year already, like currently it's July, right? So in December this year, I think that my English will be just like native because it's been a few years later. That's only like okay. Let me check the calendar first. It is July now, and I have August, September, October, November, December. I have 5 more months in this year. So with 5 more months, I can already become a native. So yeah, I hope that in the end of the year I will become a native here. And with my English, yeah, definitely I can earn a lot of money from it only. Yeah, so it's gonna be sick. And also at the time in the end of the years, I will be 19 years old. So I hope that at my 20 years old, in my 20s, 20 years old, exactly 20, I can yeah have a lot of money traveling and do whatever I want to. And during that time, I also need to earn a lot more money during the trip, you know. So whatsoever, it's been 1 hour here, and I will end this recording here, and I'll see you all in the next one. Okay, goodbye and see you later. Bye.